actually played unranked until like this year.
Yeah, I got yeah. It's I mean, it's good for us to let the viewers today know, but yeah, it's been the same story.
Yeah,
I'm aware of this, but thank you.
yeah.
Cool. So just to give everyone quick, the effectively each player from this 5-man stack has now come to me for coaching. I believe you're the final one, unless I missed one. There's
I
at
think
least
we're only a
4 of you.
4 stack
Yeah, at
of
least
us.
4 of you, and you said like the 5th
Yeah,
one is maybe a rando.
yeah.
But yeah, you guys are all trying to make a bit of a concerted effort to take Dota a bit more seriously. So, yeah, we're gonna be working with you today. What hero are you here?
Muerta.
Oh, Muerta. You're playing mid Muerta. Okay. Um,
Yeah.
I always ask everybody that I'm coaching nowadays, what do you want out of this session? What do you enjoy about Dota? What if you had like one thing you could get out of today? What do you want?
Just trying to improve on, you know, trying to see where I'm doing wrong in mid lane compared to other things.
Would you prefer this to be like a lot about Muerta, or would you prefer this to be generic things? Like, what is your like hero pick situation?
Muerta is one of my main ones. Necrophos was one, but it won't be anymore. It seems.
Oof.
With the patch,
Yeah.
uh, then I play a lot of Skywrath, Clinks, which also Clinks got fully changed again.
Hard to
So
keep up with that one, yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So it seems like you generally like ranged DPSers. Maybe Necro's a bit
yeah,
different, but it seems like you mainly like those kind of guys. Um, that sound about right?
yeah.
Okay. Do you have any like heroes that don't fit that description that you play?
Not mid.
Okay. Then we will like a lot of the suggestions I give you will be kind of fixated on that. Okay. So I guess my first question is what's up with the gunslinger leveling? What's the thought here?
That's just like the guide I was following
Okay.
has it picked as one.
Okay.
The other guy I used to do was the Deadshot first.
Okay.
But Deadshot at first doesn't kill like the range creep and doesn't do too much damage on a level one. So
Well, I would say that 100 damage is probably in the upper 10% of damage for spells. Like that's pretty
okay,
high for level 1. If we look at level 1 spells like 75, you know, 100, Lucent Beam is 75, Breathe Fire's 80, you know,
mhm,
this is 80. I'm just giving arbitrary like I would say that's a pretty high damage spell level 1.
yeah,
Um I think the most important thing about your level 1 spell is that it if possible, it secures CS.
okay,
That's like for me, that's the number one thing about the level 1 spells. The only other type of level 1 spell that can be good is if it literally threatens the opponent from being able to CS, like Ember Spirit, Flame Guard, Jug Spin, Huskar, Burning Spears. You kind of get what I'm saying? Like it prevents
yeah,
them from CSing. So what I get through with all of your friends so far is we got to shift at least some percent of your focus to what you're doing to being farming for the first 10 minutes. Because especially as core role, your job for the first 10 minutes is to get CS.
yeah,
So just I would highly recommend always taking Deadshot level 1. I know you're following a guide, but it's more like whatever hero you're playing, think about how you're going to get creeps level 1. How are you gonna get creeps level 1? That should factor into your skill build. My goal from all of these coaching sessions, I'm gonna open it up for a question if you have one, is that whatever I am trying to get you guys to do, each individual, I'm trying to give them an extra few questions to ask themselves to cover certain portions of the game so that rather than saying do this on this hero or do that, it's more like, okay, BSJ is telling me one of the most important things I need to consider with my starting items and skill build is how am I getting to secure creeps?
yeah.
Number one question. But go ahead. Well, you sound like you might have a question.
Um, Not really at this moment now.
Okay, cool. So we're gonna fast forward. Guides are helpful, in my opinion, for the first 10 games you play of a hero. After
Okay,
that, I think we should no longer use guides. It's kind of the same as ChatGPT thinking for us. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So, I'm going to quickly link you a YouTube video that I encourage you to watch later, but I'm also going to give you a brief description on. I'll ask real quick. Have you seen my recent CS video?
No.
Okay. So I'm going to share it with you, but I'm also going to I'm not just going to say watch this video. I'm going to talk to you about this part of it that's specifically relevant to you. So here it is in the game in here. So what's happening here when you're CSing is that you're walking back and forth and then turning to get the last hit. Watch this. You're walking back and forth and then turning. Do you see how that's happening?
Yeah, yeah.
So just real quick drill. I think it would huge dividends for you because it applies so much on ranged heroes. It does matter on range, or sorry, on melee, but it's way more important on range. So do you right click or A click to CS?
Right click.
Okay. So what I want you to practice, just go into this demo mode of whatever hero you're going to play. And your practice is to identify which creep is going to die next. That's first step. So that's this one. And then you're going to right click, stop. Right click. Right click, stop. Right click. Right click, stop. So what this does is your hero is now facing the creep. Okay. So instead of my attack animation being this, it's now that. It's just no turning, no extra timing. So you're already doing a decent job timing creeps. Just watching you, that was already decent. But your CSing will become much cleaner if you eliminate turn rate from your CSing. Do you have any questions about that?
No.
Okay. Oh, I did not mean to do a YouTube video. I meant to copy paste your ID back in there. So I call that the right click, stop, right click, or A stop A. Attack, stop, attack. So A, stop, A. I'm just going to put attack, stop, attack, practice. Putting in that there. I think that about covers your laning phase for the early game, hyper early game. Nothing's egregiously stands out besides that. I'm going to keep watching. Okay. Yeah, you are at 3 CS as well after. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We're going to teach you the next mechanic. So, when there's a creep so if you're a hero like Muerta that has a really strong AoE nuke like this, what I would want you to do is strive to get 2 creeps to die at the same time. So what happens here is that if you attack the other creep that's full HP that's not getting attacked, so in this case, see how this one right here is getting attacked and then this one's kind of healthy? If you spend time attacking this one such that it's dying at about the same time as the other one, then what's going to happen is you have the choice to deadshot both of them if he tries to get a deny. If he doesn't go for the deny, then you just CS. Does that kind of make sense what I'm trying to get you to do?
Yeah.
Okay. So, synchronizing enemy creep deaths to heighten impact of your nukes. That applies a lot to Necro. It applies a lot to Necro. It applies honestly to any hero with a decent damage nuke and an AoE. Out of the heroes you played, not as much Sky. What was the other one?
Clinks.
Clinks. Not as much Clinks either. But for Necro and Muerta, that applies a lot. Okay. I'm going to watch this lane back under a specific lens just to see something. Okay. Your 2 purposes for attacking, these are 2 purposes of attacking. Sinking creep deaths or hitting enemy hero. So anytime that you're not doing one of those two things, you're probably wasting your time. Probably. This is like first 4 minutes. So the reason why I'm watching the lane back is that you're against a melee guy that's standing on top of the creeps all lane, and I don't see you hitting him at all.
Yeah.
That's why I'm talking about it, because I think on a scale of 1 to 10 in this specific lane, it's like a 10 out of 10 lane to hit the other guy because he's a melee guy and he's standing on top of the creep wave all the time. So 99% of your dead shots in lane should net a CS. So like this dead shot usage should never happen. This one here.
Okay.
All right. That one. This should never happen. So nukes get CS.
Okay.
You know, a lot of times we're kind of conditioned to think that nukes are for getting like harass and stuff on enemy heroes. But what actually guides the good time to nuke people is when we can get a CS and nuke them at the same time. That's okay. Like, but so it stems with using your nukes for CS, and then it's a bonus if you could also learn to get the enemy hero in it as well. It's ideal that you do that, but it comes second to getting the CS. Yeah, so definitely not enough clicking of the enemy here. Yeah, definitely. Honestly, it's at least 300 MMR if you never dead shot a full health creep wave ever again. That's like, that's at least like 300 MMR. It's like, if there's like one thing you ever never do again, it'd be that. Yeah, you've now done it like 4 times, and he got a deny on range creep. Theoretically, this guy should never deny a range creep if dead shot's available, and theoretically dead shot. Yeah, you literally. Okay, let's just never do that again. obviously, I never really know the first time I see it if it's like, okay, you just decided to use dead shot that time, or if it's like actually a systematic issue. I never know, but in this case, it's definitely a systematic issue. So, yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so it's obviously a bit different if somebody's here, but if nobody's here, ideally what happens is if you use your nuke right now, then you have to perfectly time your CS now. Like, it's just really hard in comparison to right-clicking 2 of the creeps down at the same time, right-clicking the enemy range creep twice, and then nuking them all at the same time. It's much easier mechanically, which will, in future days, give you more space to think about other things, because you're not always focused on CSing a creep. Okay. Okay, so it looks like it makes sense with the heroes you play. You kind of playing lane dominators that just want to sit mid. Like, all 4 of the heroes you play kind of do that. Maybe Skywrath Mage could rotate, but you're not checking runes at all. Wow, okay. I'm going to pause. What is your general mindset from minute, like, 4 to minute 9, where we are now?
Try to get as many creeps and take tier 1, basically.
Okay. Okay. So what I've noticed is that pretty much every single creep wave, you're just auto-attacking it forward. I think 90% of your dead shots have been casted on full health creeps. Which means that you end up missing creeps. You have been slowly but surely pressuring the tower. Okay. So the one issue I've seen so far is that you're not checking runes and you're not ever rotating to jungle. So you have, like, what you said makes sense. You're going for CS and you're trying to pressure the tower. So that's generally like one dimension of playing the mid lane, but right now you're being very one-dimensional. It's like that's the only dimension of the mid lane that I see you focused on. It's like push lane, hit tower. No runes, no jungle camps, stuff like this. So, you know, on Muerta, for instance, what you do on jungle camps is you walk to these 2 camps, you attack this one, pulling it to here. Let me know if you need me to show you this. You pull this camp to here, and then you dead shot the creep where the dead shot bounces into this camp.
Okay.
Like, so it boom, boom. And so
Yeah.
that's hitting 6 creeps with, or whatever, 7 creeps with your dead shot, and that's like super efficiency. So, like, if I rewind, and there's these moments where when you push the lane, there's 4 potential things to do. Let me say this. When you push mid, 4 things. 4 potential options. Push tower. Get rune. Jungle. Gank. Right now, the only one you're doing is push tower. So,
Okay.
what we're bringing to your attention is that there are times where what you're doing is the optimal play. Absolutely. There's nothing like fundamentally wrong with pushing the lane and getting the tower. But so like in this case, you know, when we push this lane, we spend from 27 seconds, which is when we killed the wave. We spend the next 8 seconds, 10 seconds. We hit the enemy tower twice. And it's now been 18 seconds since we hit a creep. 20 seconds. 21. So what you got out of pushing the lane and hitting the tower was 2 tower hits, and you lost 400 HP. And that was a use of 21 seconds of your time. So what I'm drawing attention to is that there's going to be times where the enemy mid is rotating, or you shat on him so you're level 8 and he's level 5, and you push in the lane and you can hit the tower 15 times. And that's a good use of your time. But this 21 seconds could have been spent clearing 2 jungle camps, which is like 200 gold. You probably would have taken some amount of damage because you're jungling. And then it's also your neutral item, which is like a big deal because neutral items are just a lot of effective gold for you. You would have gotten your neutral item off that. So the core question I need you to ask is, how many times did I get to hit enemy tower between creep waves? And then the less that is, the more certain it is you were supposed to do one of the other 3.
Okay.
And so generally, like, Muerta and Necro, pretty slow movement speed heroes, so they have a hard time getting places. But like Skywrath Mage is like 325 move speed or 330 or something, so he's like more likely to gank. Clinks has skeleton walk, so maybe he'll gank. But the point is, I'll put it next to gank. Decreases in likelihood if you don't have a rune and your hero move speed is slow. That decreases in likelihood. I would say jungle is default. I would just say the jungle is the default option. Get rune is based on a timer, right? It's like the rune's either spawning or it's not. So that's kind of the like, so what we're trying to create is a bit of a decision flowchart for you. Right now, you're just ramming that tower. And it's like, we're not really thinking too much about how many times we're hitting the tower, how efficient our use of time. Our sole goal is to hit that tower. But we're now like, okay, there's actually 3 other good options. There's jungling, ganking, and getting rune. The default is that we ask ourselves, if we push the wave and hit the tower, how much am I actually getting to hit it? And then we need to ask ourselves, why am I not getting to hit it? Is this a matchup where I won't hit it very much? You know, we're just kind of gaining understanding over time of why we are hitting the tower or not. And then based on the times we're not hitting the tower very much, we would rather jungle by default. But if there's a rune spawning, we go for that. And if we have a rune, we're more likely to gank. That's my summary for your first 10 to 12 minutes of the game. Do you have any questions?
Nope.
Cool. Okay. what you might find is that right now you're going for Falcon Blade and instead of bottle. Like some people go both. What I'm going to bring to your attention is if you're properly jungling these camps, you might need bottle. I don't know Muerta well enough to tell you, but I have seen people like tops and mid playing Muerta getting a bottle. But my point is that you're not using as much health and mana as you necessarily would if you were being efficient, right? So just keep in mind, as you jungle more efficiently, you might need a bottle on heroes like Muerta. Any questions on that?
Nope.
Okay. I'm about 95% sure. I'm saying that because I'm not 100% because it's kind of like something I've been logging as I've been watching, but I'm not 100%. That you have not moved your camera away from your hero like a single time this game. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure. So I just want to draw attention to the fact that eventually that's going to be a problem. Okay. Right now, I don't think it's your most important problem. So let's like, I just kind of want to log it on your radar that that's a problem, but it's not what I want you to do right now. What I'm thinking about is that when we look at these four things, the push tower, jungle, get rune, gank, the push tower jungle part, if you're just deciding between those two, which might actually be a good place for you to start, like don't even think about runes yet, don't even think about ganking yet, just add jungling. Like you're now weighing the balance of, is it better to jungle or is it better to push the tower? Maybe start there. Okay, just go into your next 10, 15, 20 games or whatever, and just decide which one's better and gain understanding of that over time. Because those two things can be done by never moving your screen. Like, you never have to look at the rest of the game to efficiently do that for the first 12 minutes. Okay? But if we're considering getting runes and ganking, suddenly we have to consider where are the enemy supports? What levels are they? What's the status of the side lanes? Should I gank them because they need my help? Or am I able to help? Is the enemy full HP or are they low? There's a lot of things that require you to look at the other lanes if you're making the right decision when it comes to getting the rune and ganking. But I think it's absolutely essential that you play for more efficiency between jungling and tower pushing first. Like, let's kind of walk before we run here. But then after you feel good about that, you can start going for runes next. Like, just include runes. Be like, I finished the creep wave. Okay, so step one, maximize decision between only jungle and pushing tower. Okay. Don't worry about anything else for now. Like, there's a lot of other things, but let's not worry about it. We're horse blindering this shit. We don't care about the rest of the game. Anything else for now. Step two, add runes into the decision tree. This requires you to get in the habit of checking the timer every time you kill a creep wave. That's step two. And for me, I don't need to plan 3 steps ahead. That's step one and step two. I'll just say step three, eventually more camera movement and potential ganking. Does that... Any questions about that plan? Any objections to the plan? No? We're good?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Is there anything that you feel like I was going to mention that I didn't mention, or just general questions that you have right now?
Not right now.
Yep. I think in general, probably before your Maelstrom, I'm not going to change your item build too much, but before Maelstrom, you will want to buy Wand in 95% of games.
Okay.
Just generally, it's just like too much value for these sort of fights when you're taking these mid-game fights. So if you want to go like Falcon Blade Treads first because you're not really laning too much and you're primarily focused on jungling, there's going to be this stage around 12 minutes you start fighting a lot more. And by then I would want you to have a wand.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm going to rewind a bit. This is going to be the guidance for your mid-game, which is past the stage where you're no longer mid anymore, okay? Okay, so this is mid-game. You have left mid lane. That's like when that starts, okay? So we go to the stage of the game, and what I'm noticing is that you'll gank a lane, and this time's fine, but it's right here and later.
But last time I didn't leave.
It's you go to a lane and then you stay there for eternity. Like right now you showed up this lane and you're here for 15-20 is when you got here. Okay, great, a fight. Now go do something else.
Okay.
So mid game, be very careful of sticking too much in one lane. So the reason why this is so important is because the more resources that a team is putting in one lane, it's effectively like any board game with like areas you have to control. You're giving up stuff in the other lanes. So like right here, you're just losing a tower to creeps, and that's farm being missed and stuff like this. So right here, it's the same thing happening. So this is what happens when there's like multiple people in your game doing this, which most people in like Herald bracket will generally not prioritize lanes enough. But rather than telling you need to prioritize lanes enough, we need to be very careful of just gluing ourselves to a lane. So what happens is in the mid lane, you were pushing the lane in and then pressuring the tower. And that was the only thing you did. I'm seeing the exact same thing, but mid-game version now, where you have teammates with you, but it's the exact same thing. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're trying to turn off the sit in a lane, push tower mode. We're trying to turn that off. So in the early game, the option is to jungle. Like that's the option we need to throw in there. In the mid game, it's once first fight in lane is over, check other lanes and TP if no one is there.
Okay.
And that's going to hopefully be a good start to getting you out of this kind of glued to a lane. Because the reason I showed this is not just this one example, but then we kind of see the same thing here, where you show up to the lane, you push the lane, you'll occasionally jungle around it, and then you just sit in the lane, and then you push it. And then we sit in the lane, and then we push it. So we're just trying to get out of this rinse and repeat cycle, because like right now, what I would want is for you to be like, oh, they're defending, go to Ancients, look to maybe rotate mid. But anything, basically, that's not slowly but surely pushing the tower, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, it really seems like it seems like you're methodically going from lane to lane. You're like, I'll take this tower, then that tower. Is that kind of how you think about the game, or am I misreading it?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so now the question is, you've got all the tier 1 towers. I would guess you're generally speaking that's your formula in the game. Now what? Let's find out. Okay, so it seems like you're playing relatively efficiently now. Interesting. You're doing much more of what I would want you to do now.
Mm-hmm.
Once the tier 1s are gone. Okay. There's obviously issues with this portion of the game, like meaning there's always things that I could say could be better.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say your play in this portion of the game is far better than your play in the first 20 minutes. Before the tier 1s are gone. Like, you're rotating to fights, you're using your items, you're using spells. Obviously, maybe, like, it sucks that, you died to that ult, but... maybe the Parasma recipe purchase is a bit cringe, but...
Yeah. I mean, it's 600 gold, and I buy it so I can get the other one at secret shop without having to
I
courier to
see,
secret
yeah.
shop as much.
I guess I'd be careful to buy an item unless you're 100% completing the full thing.
Yeah.
That's just something to be careful of. Yeah, but overall...
It's just so strong on her, so...
No, I'm saying, like, I'm not saying don't buy Parasma. What I'm saying is you bought the
Yeah,
Parasma recipe and then a Dragonlance. So, I'd...
What about the Dragonlance first, I think? Or maybe not. No, I think it was just I had an abundance of gold, so it auto-bought the other item.
Oh, is that what happened? Okay. Yeah, because you bought it here, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So...
I'm like, I'm not crazy, am I? Okay.
Or maybe I needed the extra range, I felt, maybe at that time, so then I skipped the...
Yeah, what I'm saying is it
the...
sounds like you're thinking I want to be able to purchase the Parasma from the secret shop when I'm ready to buy it, but what I'm saying is that trade-off is not worth the 5% chance that you do what you just did, where you're like, I need a different item. So that's why generally people don't do that, right? It's not because, like, what you're saying makes sense, but the risk of having a 600 gold item that does nothing in your inventory kind of sucks.
Yeah, that's fair.
Sometimes our efficiencies are so efficient that we end up being inefficient. You know, kind of integer overflow of efficiency here. Okay. So obviously this was about a 30-minute session. My goal from 30-minute sessions is to give people what I believe to be like 2 to 3 of the most meaningful takeaways. I think we did that for you today. I feel confident that when I watched your gameplay, I feel much more confidence in your 20 minutes plus, actually. That's actually pretty rare, to be honest, where I think it doesn't surprise me, though, when I think about it. If you guys have been playing together casually for the last, you know, X amount of time, and so you've gotten a good feel for just kind of playing the map and spellcasting. So, like, that stuff looks good to me. Past this stage, like, I'm looking at your efficiency and spellcasting, showing up the fights. That it actually looks like way above 500 MMR, if I'm being honest. But the first... It's funny. If I loaded up your replay and started it at the 20-minute mark, I'd be surprised you're 500 MMR. Quite frankly. But watching the first 20 minutes of the game, I'm like, oh, this is really clear to me because he's very focused on doing one thing, which is funny because sometimes I get 500 MMR players who are so wildly inconsistent that the first thing I have to teach them is to focus on one thing. But for you, we have to kind of snap you out of, you're in one option mode right now. We're going to start with 2 options, then 3 options, then 4, and go from there. So I think, at least from my end, it's pretty clear what small steps you can take that will make a big difference over time. Do you have any final thoughts or questions that you'd like to ask?
Not right now. I feel like that's good to change my early game.
Sweet, man. Awesome. Then I will let you go. Thanks for joining me.
Have
Have
a
a
good
good
one.
one. Okay.